You're very welcome back to After Midnight. It's Dublin City FM 103.2. My name is Noel Casey. Just before the break, we had music from the Earls. We had Justin Townes Earl, taken from the first part of a double venture. It's from Single Mothers, and we played you the title track, and the second part of that comes out in a month or two. And then we had Steve Earle, taken from the Bluebird album, and his version of his own song called Tom Ames' Prayer. And just after the breakdown, well, that was the Rye River Band, recorded live at the Brazen Head, and their version of Steve Earle's Copperhead Road. I'm delighted to welcome one of the Rye River Band, the main man, I suppose, guitarist, singer, and songwriter, Pat Burgess. You're welcome, Pat.
Thanks very much, Noel. Great to be here.
Sorry to get you up this early in the morning or late at night, whichever way you look at it.
No problem, Noel. I'm a Northside boy, so I'm just very
you didn't have too far to come. You must be delighted with the album, Pat.
Very happy, Noel, in that I suppose people had asked us years ago would we not consider recording a live album, and we just did that. And in fact, as it turned out, my son Matt is a sound engineer by trade, essentially. He's based and working in London, so I was able to nab him for one night in the Brazen Head to get him to set up sound for us. And the album literally was done in one night in the Brazen Head. We recorded 25 tracks, and we picked 25 tracks, and we picked the best 14, and I suppose like the suitable genres across the styles as well. So it was done, and essentially what you hear is literally what was recorded. Noel, very little overdubs in it.
A very long gig, may I suggest?
Yeah, sure. I suppose typically we do probably a solid 2.5 hours, you know. Yeah, absolutely. It's a great little venue, though. I have to say, we're celebrating our 25th year playing there as a residency, the Rye River Band, and it's a wonderful place to play. You get people from all over the world there, and as well as that, a great hardcore of locals as well, turning up to listen to the music, and it's just very enjoyable.
That's every Saturday night, Pat, is it?
We do every second Saturday night, Noel, so we're not caught. Luckily, we have the odd weekend, so we can do something else as well, so it's not too bad, and maybe write a few songs or whatever, you know. But I must say, a great venue and well-established pub as well, you know.
Well, tell us about the Rye River Band.
Okay, Noel.
And the various members?
Yeah, well, certainly at the moment, the current lineup is myself, Patsy Tracy from Maynooth. Patsy's history would literally be with the likes of, going way back with, for people remember, Zebedee and Demon Duck. And then he would have played with them Hungry Buzzards during the Bad Bob days.
Okay.
And lead guitarist Patsy's lead guitarist. Then we have Don Knox, of course, of Spud fame, along with his partner in music, Smithy, who's on bass guitar and vocals. And also our drummer is Eugene Burns. Eugene's history, essentially, he's very much into marching bands and manages marching bands. So that's basically the lineup, Noel, at the moment. But the history of the band were formed in Leixlip around 1989 by myself, Pat McSweeney and Paddy Faulkland, and essentially it came about a request from Desmond Guinness. He was looking for a local country band to play at a function in Leixlip Castle, and that's literally how the if you like, the nucleus of the band started, and we developed on from there. We started playing, I suppose, around the local area, and then eventually we got our residency in the Brazen Head. Never looked back since, so I suppose that's essentially it. But we started off, I suppose, literally with a kind of style of folk, blues, Irish, very much a kind of a rainbow of music, if you like, and kind of probably then, so I suppose, honed it down to, I suppose, a little bit of kind of Americana roots styles and that.
Yeah, there's dancing music in there, and there's listening music as well.
Yeah, there is, very much so. I mean, it's a mix of stuff as well. You know, we've always tried to see, you know, be true to kind of doing very good covers of kind of standard American standards and some Irish as well. You know, we would cover Shane MacGowan as well with songs like Rainy Night in Soho as well. We covered it to our set. Yeah. But then, of course, on the original side, then I suppose the songs are written. I've written myself, if you like, most of the songs, but they're written, I suppose, with the band structure in mind. You know, so like going back to, as you were saying, Noel, a lot of the stuff is dance based.
Yeah.
And then I suppose Patsy, his weapon of choice is the Stratocaster. I had to write some of that. I put some of that in as well. You know, some rockers as well. You know, so it's blues country, very much. Noel, that would be the genre, I suppose. Really, country blues. Yeah.
It's funny. I was just thinking there. Don, who you mentioned, is the fiddle player and harmonica player. I first came across Don I'm bad on years now, but I'd suggest something like around about 1968.
Oh, yes.
In a folk club up near the Mater Hospital one night. I was there.
Right.
I can't remember what it was called. And these two guys actually from the north got up to play. And I always remember their name. They were called Chuckle Stuff.
Okay, I'm sure Don remembers.
He might not even remember. Sometimes I have a memory like an elephant. But Don was one of the two guys.
Okay.
And it was the first time I'd heard a fiddle played like that. I mean, I'd heard Irish music played on fiddle, but I think they did I'll Be Your Baby Tonight. They did a Dylan song anyway.
Right.
And it was the first time I'd actually heard it done, apart from Dylan doing it.
Yes.
And I thought, there's really something going on here. And then he sang a song called, which is one of my favourite songs anyway, called Miss Otis Regrets.
Right.
Which I think was done by not Ella Fitzgerald. Maybe Ella Fitzgerald.
Possibly, yeah.
And I thought, I love that mix. He puts a Dylan song in, he puts an Ella Fitzgerald song in, and funny, how many years? 45 years later is it?
I know he's still doing it. He's still doing I'll Be Your Baby. Well, we do I'll Be Your Baby tonight, as tipping our hat to Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
And Don does a lovely fiddle piece in it now as well. Really lovely. Amazing. It's a delight to play with the likes of the lineup. I'm very lucky with the lineup of guys I have playing with me. And going back to the history, my history of Don and Smithy would have been the old Sheeling back in, I suppose, the early 70s.
Yeah.
Going to watch Spud with Dermot O'Connor and Austin
Spud
Kenny.
Spud were a huge band.
Great band, wonderful band.
Yeah.
So it's great to play with the guys. It really is. I'm delighted now that the whole thing has become full circle to some degree. That I listen and now I'm playing. It's great. And again, like with the likes of Patsy and Eugene, that just brings a lovely balance to the band. Kind of found myself, getting an idea and just sometimes just grabbing the guitar, maybe and just trying it out. So over time, I suppose, tried to find time to put in originals into the set as well, that would suit the band lineup too, So
well, this sounds as good a time as any to have a listen to one. If you're of a mind to play us one,
I give it a go. Happy pleasure, Noel. Indeed, this one essentially celebrates a wonderful festival down in Clifton that ran from around 1989 to 1996, and it was the brainchild of Ronan Wilmot. The actor Ronan Wilmot, and also local men, Seamus Burke and Dave Griffin. And it was a wonderful festival. But the festival, there was some great highlights there. People, the likes of Van Morrison would have turned up, Georgie Fame, people like that, and indigenous kind of musicians like, say, Louis Stewart, Mick Doherty, and people like that as well. And then Glenn Hansard from the Frames would have turned up, people like that. But anyway, the festival used to end on the last night with a barn dance.
Okay.
And it was held in the local hall, and it was essentially a get together of all the bands and all the customers in one place. And the likes of Chris Meehan used to play it and people like that. So anyway, this song celebrates.
This presumably was the Clifton Country Blues Festival.
Clifton Country Blues Festival.
Yeah.
And essentially, this song tries to celebrate that and the festival. And they essentially called it The Wonderful Barn, which it kind of is a kickback also to Leixlip, which has a place called The Wonderful Barn.
Okay.
So I got something like this now, anyway. Hey, packing up my bags now, heading down that road to that place where the sun sets, lose my heavy load. I'm lost in the crowd, I'm going round and round, down as wheels were turning off of Clifton town. I said, hey, let's go to the barn. And I said, hey, let's go to the barn. I said, hey, let's go to the barn. Everybody's arm in arm at the barn. Got my eyes on the road and my hands on the wheel, but my feet are dancing to that Connemara reel. Take your partners, let's go, there's no time to lose. Barnett's night in Clifton, Clifton Country Blues. Pull on your guitar, boy, girl, your dancing shoes. Barnett's night in Clifton, Clifton Country Blues. And I said, hey, let's go to the barn. I said, hey, let's go to the barn. I said, hey, let's go to the barn. Everybody's arm in arm at the barn.
That's a great song, Pat. That's The Wonderful Barn. You can find that on the live album, but that's an acoustic version there by the man who wrote the song. His name is Pat Burgess, and we're here on After Midnight in Dublin City FM 103.2, and we're talking about the new album. We're playing a couple of songs, at least Pat is, and you're about to have a kind of launch of the band, Pat, or launch of the album, Pat?
That's right, Noel. The plan is on Saturday night, the 17th of January, not too far away. We're launching the album in the Sugar Club there in Leeson Street in Dublin.
Great venue.
A great venue, lovely venue altogether. And again, thanks to Dave Murphy and all the team up there for facilitating us and helping us out there with that. We're going to actually perform in the night, obviously, and we're very lucky as well also to have a guest, special guest singer-songwriter with us, also from Leixlip, and her name is Sinead White, and Sinead's doing very well on the circuit at the moment as well. So Sinead's got a guest with us on the night. A couple of old friends going to join us on stage, the band as well. A man of note who's well known again in the music industry in Ireland, a wonderful accordion player and keyboard player, Mick McNally. Okay. Mick used to play with the One-Eyed Rattlers with Don and the lads at one stage, and my old partner in music going way back as well with the Rye River Band, Mr. Pat McSweeney. So Pat and Mick will be guesting with us on the night. So it's the launch, yeah, looking forward to it, Noel. As I say, we've worked a fair bit on it anyway, and I think it's probably a really good venue probably to showcase the music as well. The Brazen Head is a wonderful venue, but it's a very tight venue, size wise and that, so it'll give us an opportunity to push it out with a proper PA. My son Matt's going to do sound on the night as well, so I've dragged him over from London to get him to play as well, get him to work on it as well. So it's out there anyway, and as I say, you can pay it on the door. Yeah, it's going to be a tenner in and a free CD. So for everybody, so that's the deal on the night. And as I say, please come along and join. Have a good night anyway. It'll run from 7:30 to 11, so it's an early night as well. So that's the story. So that's it, no?
Tickets from the Sugar Club website and probably entertainment.ie and all the usual venues, all the usual routes. Yeah. Is this your first full-length CD, Pat? I know you've had a couple of EPs.
It's actually our third, Noel. We started out in '98 with essentially a CD EP, 4-track, and that was just kind of showcasing just some of the original material in the early days. Yeah. And then there was a bit of a gap for a number of years, and in 2006 we brought out an album called Music from Big Meadow. Okay. We recorded it actually down in Clonmore House in Kilkenny, and we decided we'd say, well, why don't we call it, give again, tip our hat to the band, and we sort of said, let's call it music. It was Clonmore in Irish, it's Clunmore, it's Big Meadow, so that's the way that was the link there. So we recorded, that was an 18-track album, and again, we did some material, some original and cover material as well, again, on the Americana side as well. So that was 2006. So then another big gap, and here we are with the third recording. So I suppose essentially it's the challenge for a lot of us is just getting the time, the space to do it. Yeah. And they're obviously a labour of love as well. You just like to do it, it's wonderful,
So tell me about your sort of influences musically, your own personal influences apart from the band. Where did it all start? Where did it all go wrong?
Well, where did it all go wrong is right, Noel. It's strange when you ask about kind of music, like where your influences were. It probably goes back to the 60s, certainly, for me. And I'm going to probably if I get an opportunity to sing a song for you, Mike actually explain it best. Okay. But for me, seminal time probably was the summer of '67. I was only a young fella,
right?
But you kind of got a sense that something was happening, you know, in those days. And like you're hearing music, say, from the west coast of America, from England, from all parts, and also on the indigenous Irish scene as well. Yeah, you'd like venues like Club a Go-Go, and I think there's a few of those as well, if you remember. No,
I do.
You know, your clubs like, say, you know, you Tin Pan Alley, Denmark Street in London, you Club Passam in Boston and Cambridge, and obviously Greenwich Village, you know, that was all happening as well. But like, you know, as a kid, like say a young fella, I was listening to, like, my world was very limited. But once you turned the radio on, your whole world was open up to something else. So for me, that sound of that 1967 sound kind of hit a switch for me. Yeah. And opened my ears, and that was the first start of it, Noel. And then I suppose after that, then listening to, I suppose, the English music scene from prog rock all the way to folk, like you're talking about Jethro Tull to Lindisfarne to the Kinks, the singer-songwriter scene, Harry Chapin, Jim Croce, people like that, early Cat Stevens, and then in latter years moving into the country scene would have been Neil Young, introduced me to country with Harvest, and the wonderful early format, or early Eagles as well, Poco. And then digging deeper, as I said there, you know, later on, I dug deeper. Hank Williams
went back.
Started going further back and back. So that's kind of how it happened, Noel. Yeah. And then on the like the Irish scene was amazing as well. Like, you had Pete Cummins in here a few weeks ago. I mean, you had bands like, you know, Granny's Intentions, like, you know, wonderful, innovative bands, Irish on the Irish scene as well. Yeah. I mentioned people like Ray Lynham earlier as well. You know, wonderful influences as well. And then it's funny enough, what came into it as well, the huge influence was the trad scene, when Planxty opened things up, you know, and you had that sort of introduction of string instruments, which I could relate to, you know what I mean, and the wonderful harmonies and vocals as well. And as I mentioned, people like Spud, Horslips, you know, and of course Tin Lizzy. Phil.
We talked about that Planxty when Pete was in here that night, because he played with Donovan.
Yes.
Back then, and they did that first famous gig that Planxty did in the stadium, which I think everybody was at. It was a bit like the GPO in 1916, but I was definitely there. And I mean, we almost didn't know who these guys were. Well, I mean, Andy Irvine had been in Sweeney's Men, and, you know, the names were vaguely familiar, but and these four guys came out, Raggle Taggle, and they just literally blew the roof off the place. It was just one of those wonderful...
It was just the sound.
It switched on lights for in lots of people's heads.
I agree, Noel. I think for me as well, it would have been that, like, listening to that kind of sound, and it kind of opened up a kind of a different style where you could experiment in a little bit as well. It wasn't. I mean, I love traditional music, but I wouldn't. You know, I'm not technically proficient.
And it was very fixed. It was very structured.
Absolutely. You know, whereas the lads open up this kind of crossover.
That's right.
And then I suppose Andy Irvine introducing Balkan sounds and things like that as well. You know, amazing. You know, so I suppose they're mainly the influences, really, Noel. I have great respect for the Irish music scene, I have to say. Like, I mean, we've a wealth of music in this country. We do. You know, and a legacy, obviously, as well. Yeah. So,
and Ray Lynham was a great favourite of mine as well.
Ray
still plays. I saw him a couple of years back. I was down the country, and he was playing in a pub one Saturday night with just his guitar, and he's a great guitar player.
Oh, wonderful.
But there's a clip on YouTube somebody pointed out to me recently, and it's himself and Tommy Wynette singing on, I think it's The Late Late Show.
Yes, I believe I've seen that, Noel. Yeah, tremendous.
I mean, you didn't miss George.
No. Ray for me now is, I think, one of the huge influences on proper country music. Parkcourt Hotel. Probably the early 90s, possibly, with a lineup.
I remember it too,
You know, Owen O'Neill on bass, Robbie Brennan on drums, Francie Lennon guitar, you know, Jimmy Smith at times as well. Wonderful music altogether. So, actually, again, as a mark of, a nod to Ray, we recorded Rose in Paradise. Which Ray used to do a wonderful version. And that was the version I actually heard. You know, that we wanted to get that on the album.
Well, actually, that's where I heard the song now, because I was listening to the CD again coming in the car this morning, and Rose of Paradise, I'm thinking, all right, there's another version of that by somebody, and of course it's Ray Lynham.
Ray did a wonderful version of it, you know. So, as I said, we said, right, like, I love Waylon's version, which is great, and many others have recorded it. But the version for me was Ray's version. So that's why we
And incidentally, on those wonderful nights in the Harcourt, I was doing the disco downstairs from 12 o'clock.
Right. I attended one of those.
That's how I remember it so well.
Very good. I actually used to. I went to one of those one night as well with some friends. Yeah. It was a great event, I must say. Yeah. And like Ray really nailed it. You know. Yeah. Wonderful.
There was a night I went there. It was on Wednesday night. They were always on Wednesday nights, and I was downstairs setting up stuff, and Ray was playing upstairs, and the band were playing, and suddenly there was a harmonica player. And it was Stone Fox Chase. Okay. And I thought, that's somebody really doing a great version of Stone Fox Chase. So I went upstairs to see who it was. It was Charlie McCoy.
Now, there you go. Oh, wow.
He was over here recording something or other. Yeah. And somebody said, you should go along and hear this guy. And he got up and he played with him.
Oh, fantastic. Well, that's just respect, Noel. There you go. Yeah. I mean, no, I have to say, like, for Irish country music, I think Ray's the man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway, back to your 67 days. You told me you had a song which explains the whole...
Yeah, it is, Noel. And again, it's a song called Eleanor's House, which is probably a reference to a long time ago, when I was a kid. But the song's about, again, the summer of 67, but kind of more importantly, the power of radio. And this is why I'd like to do it. Essentially, as I said there before, it was the radio for most of us that opened up music to us all.
It was.
The visual concept was never there. It was actually literally radio and the sound of radio. And then, like, you know, that played with your imagination. You know, I mean, I think kind of, you know, says, you know, wow, what's the West Coast of America like? And all these different places. Like. So, song's called Eleanor's House. It also celebrates a dedication to two very dear friends of mine as well. They're included in the lyric as well. And it's, I suppose, about all the places where in the late 60s, 67 was the seminal year. Then things started to change a little bit in 68 and things got a little bit darker. So that's what about Eleanor's House anyway. Yeah.
Okay.
It was 1967, a summer full of song. A youngster of 11, sitting on a shed. Eleanor by my side, the Beach Boys on the waves. I thought I was in heaven on that balmy July day. Balmy July day. On the far side of the city, in that summertime of light, two lovers shared a promise that endured like solid wood, to build a life and home as well of rhythm, rock and blues. Louise and Pat's unbroken bond, a joinery of love, a joinery of love. La 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 la, 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 la la la. The flowers of San Francisco, a distant song of peace. Scott McKenzie's invite to a California dream, that wrote a memory for this kid to capture for all time. Remind him while he plays guitar and makes a lyric rhyme, makes a lyric rhyme. Hey, New York's Greenwich Village to Tin Pan Denmark Street, The Dublin's Club of Go-Go and Harvard's Club Passing. They sang the tunes to mark the time before the bitter end. Hail long like veil the world pulled down to hide the face of change. Hide the face of change. La 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 la, 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 la 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 la. The radio won't forget, reminds me, yes it does. I'm a youngster of 11, still sitting on a shed. Eleanor by my side, the Beach Boys on the waves. I thought I was in heaven on that balmy July day. Balmy July day. Hey, hey, hey.
That's a gorgeous song, Pat, and it sums the whole thing up really perfectly.
Thanks very much, Noel.
Have you recorded that?
No, it's one I'm going to actually work with Pat McSweeney. Pat, who's mentioned there with Dear Louise in the lyric there. He's a studio out there in Rathcoole, the Loft Studios,
okay.
And I plan to record that with Pat out there. So that's what I'm going to do. It's completely slightly different to the genre, I suppose, that we do know, but it's kind of harking back, I think, to the folky kind of sound, and probably going to do it on a 12-string to get the jangle as well. When we do come to record, yeah. Thanks, Noel. Yeah.
What are you playing there?
It's a Martin, Noel.
It's a Martin. I mean,
Martin TX1.
Why do I even ask? It has to be.
I just love them. You know, just amazing.
Are you playing any sort of rock bands?
No.
In
fact, my history really is, I suppose, started out 78, 79 on live performance. Again, I mentioned Pat there, Pat McSweeney. I used to guest with Pat McSweeney. Pat used to be in a band called Frazzle years ago, and then they became Late Shift. But they used to gig in Toners, the Bag It In, and a lot of the circuit around there. So I used to do a kind of a 45-minute spot in advance, just an acoustic guitar. And as I say, do a lot of the old singer-songwriter stuff, including my own material. Just
go back to the CD. You mentioned the fact that if you do the Eleanor's house, it's going to be done in the Loft Studios. Mm-hmm. It's great to see all these small studios, isn't it? And the fact that you can just set up somewhere and rather than going in and paying exorbitant rates in some of the big studios.
Absolutely, I know. Pat's got a great setup out there, Pat McSweeney, I must say, Noel. It's and it's a lovely studio as well. Like Pat was a cabinet maker by trade, joinery and that. So. What he literally did was he finished with that, and he converted his workshop into a studio. It's wonderful enterprise.
And a lot of the work on your CD on the Live at the Brazen Head was done in-house, in family.
That's right, absolutely. The actual design was done, believe it or not, Noel, by my daughter Sarah. And Sarah Keenan now, she's married, and her husband Gordon did the photography.
Right.
And of course Matt, my son, did the engineering.
No, it's really well done. Because it's not that easy to do a live album.
No, it's not. I think we were very lucky, Noel, and I suppose, we picked what we thought were the, not necessarily the best songs, but suitable for a kind of, I suppose, given a kind of a
that flow,
a calling card for the band, that kind of idea. I think that's the idea. So I think there are other tracks there as well, but I think from our own perspective, that's probably very representative of what we would do as a band, So
and there's little nuggets thrown in there that you don't expect, like Lover of the Bayou. There's very few bands covering that.
Absolutely, yeah. In fact, where that one came from, Noel, was just very quickly was when Tom Petty went back to record at Mudcrutch, his original band from Florida. They included Lover of the Bayou and The Wrong Thing to Do, which is a Tom Petty, which is the last track on the album there. And in fairness, I was knocked out with it. And then I went back, obviously, to listen to Roger McGuinn's version as well.
So it was on Thunderbird or something, was it?
That's right. Wonderful stuff, And I said, oh God, we have to do that one, And it's a very popular, actually,
Is it really?
Live track with the crowd, people seem to enjoy it.
Because there's a nice little fiddle bit put in at the end
That's
as well.
right, yeah, we kind of developed it. It kind of went on for a while, so I think it's nearly a 6-minute track now.
Yeah.
And what actually happened was, what was captured was just, say, Don and Patsy just playing a lot of dueling between electric guitar and fiddle, and we said we need to keep that.
Hence the fact it's called the Great Guitar Fiddle.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. I won't play that tonight, but I will play that next week.
Cheers, Noel.
But could we take another song from you?
Yeah, sure, Noel. Yeah, absolutely. Again, I think, as I mentioned earlier, this song, it's I suppose it's a love song. It's about, I suppose, long-term relationships and maybe a little bit of self-doubt creeping in. That's what the kind of lyric is about. And it's kind of just one of those songs that kind of, the chorus came very quickly, and it's called Twilight and the Dawn.
Okay, it's after midnight here in Dublin City FM 103.2. I'm talking to Pat Burgess from the Rye River Band. They have a new CD called Live at the Brazen Head. This is not live at the Brazen Head. This is live in Docklands Innovation Park. Pat's going to sing a song. It's called Twilight in the Dawn.
There's a time for living in the country. There's a time for staying in the town. There's a time for breaking up forever. But I hope that we stick around. There's a need for two hearts to be together, like pistons of a train rolling on, through mountains of joy, plains of sorrow, winding their way back home. Won't end the journey of a lifetime. Don't change your course and turn around. I'll be waiting for you down the line, girl, and we'll share twilight and the dawn. There's a reason for living in the present. No need to dwell upon the past and wondering about what might have been, how the years are rolling by so fast. We set on living in the country. Did you prefer the town? All I know is that we're still here, and our love was built on solid ground.
That's a song called Twilight in the Dawn. That's from Pat Burgess of the Rye River Band. And just want to thank Pat for being with us this morning, tonight, I should say. And to remind everybody that the 17th of January, which is next Friday night, the Rye River Band launched their CD at the Sugar Club on Leeson Street, just coming out onto Stephen's Green. Admission, a very reasonable €10, which will also get you a free copy of the CD. We're going to finish off tonight with a track from the album. It's one of your own songs, Pat.
That's right, Noel. One written very way back in 1990 called Nightlight, and it's kind of just basically about the idea of, say, a lot of musicians go out and perform at night, and that's often when they just wake up.
Yeah.
And their nightlight switches on. So that's essentially it.
And there's some lovely playing on it from Patsy. Some lovely guitar on this.
Guitar work, absolutely, yeah.
So once again, Pat, thanks very much. We'll talk to you again. And don't forget, Friday night, the Rye River Band at the Sugar Club. Saturday night. I apologise. Did I say Friday night earlier on as well? I think I probably did. Saturday night. This is called Nightlight, taken from the album. Thank you.
Closing in, too much here. Hey, the traffic's out my window, but I'm out of touch. World asleep, the summer night lights coming on. I said my night light, yeah, my night light is shining on. I said my night light, yeah, oh, my night light is shining on. Look on. My nightlight shines so bright now, I can see them blue. Yeah, my nightlight shining bright now, I can really feel them blue. Now the night is nearly over, switch off my nightlight and I'm gone.